Good evening, everyone, and welcome into another episode of the Halfway House. How's everybody doing this evening?
I'm good. You?
I'm doing just fine.
Yeah.
I'm recovering from my Nittany Lions loss last night. It was a great game, but unfortunately, we just made the one mistake in the end. Kirk Herbstreit called the game exactly as he said it happened. He
Yeah, he
said it was
did.
going to come down to a turnover at the end, and that's what happened. And it was unfortunately Penn State that made that turnover. But overall, great game. I think that it's not on everyone that says that Franklin can't win the big games. The team played well. They just lost on something like this. It wasn't like a blowout in a big game. So
Right.
I'm happy with the Lions season. But tonight, we are here to talk about TGL. After our tavern show on Tuesday nights, TGL premiered, and we all sat there and watched it. We had text chains back and forth about it with a bunch of different people,
Yep.
making all kinds of comments on it. But overall, Steve, what was your first impression or first thought of TGL?
I like it. I think they've done team golf much better than what Liv has done with team golf because the team actually plays together. So it looks like a team. The technology, you and I, we said this in the text group. The technology is literally second to none. That green
Oh, it's
is
phenomenal.
awesome, amazing. I like triples.
I did like triples.
I like triples. I'm not gonna lie. Triples is the most exciting play in baseball, and I feel like I like triples in golf now. That format was amazing, but I think there's some things that need to be tweaked.
That was kind of my take on it as well. I thought that the technology was there, hands down. It was great. I thought that it was kind of boring to watch. I didn't I wasn't drawn into it. I loved listening to the players and their commentary and what they're saying through it. Like I loved when Lowry was like, "I want to be the Scotty Scheffler of indoor golf." Like that was a great comment. It was great
And his
interaction.
F-bomb talking about
Yeah,
Ludwig,
we don't.
because that was
Yeah,
awesome.
exactly. Like it was. It that fun was there, but it wasn't energized, and it sounded like in the background at the if you were watching it in the arena, it was a little more exciting than it was on TV. And I think
Yes.
the broadcast was where I think they can do the most improvement on this.
It was funny. I went back and thought about it. Did they call, did Matthew Berry on set literally call any shot? I don't think that. I think these guys just hit balls and they all talked around it, and it looked like us standing on the range shooting the breeze. But I also don't feel like they called a
Golf.
shot.
They didn't. They did.
Golf.
I don't think they did. I think the
No.
problem. The first thing that I noticed was the color commentary. Like the guys there, Matthew Berry and why
Marty
am I
Smith.
blanking on his name? Marty Smith. And
Smith.
Marty
Yep.
Smith, I thought was the best of the three that were there.
Yep.
Those two there, Marty was great when they were a segment for him, but while it was going on, they didn't say much. And the first thing I
No.
thought when this opened, because I knew Scott Van Pelt was going to be the host, I kind of didn't like that Scott Van Pelt was in DC.
Mm-mm.
I didn't. It just felt like he's covering this kind of like we cover stuff, but it
Right.
would have been
Yeah.
better had he been there and he been where Matthew Berry was, where Matt Berry was. Like if he was sitting up at that booth, that would have been better because he's done golf. That's how he got his career started was with golf, and then had those two down with the teams. I think having
Right.
those two, one with each team, would have been a little bit more exciting because you could have had that back and forth with the host, with the players, and that's what we want to see as fans because we can't see that in a regular golf match.
I also think this virtual caddy that helps him set the hole up. I want to hear that conversation that they didn't show. Like they're having a conversation about how they want to play the hole, especially in triples, where they're like, okay, I want to take it here versus here and do this because I can hit it far enough. Well, then do it.
Yeah, I don't need to see
Um,
it off the tee shot as much, but I wanna see, like, how you're thinking the setup
I
shot. I wanna see how change
feel
it
like
up each hole is what I'm kinda getting at.
holes that have the 3 different ways you can play it, left, right, or center with the lava or with the water,
Mhm.
like, why are we playing to the right tee box? Why do you wanna hit it there? Like, I feel like we could have more dialogue around that. I do, and I'm gonna say this, Greg, you're gonna be here in a couple weeks. We are implementing a 40-second shot clock on all rounds of golf.
I love the shot clock
I love the shot
because
clock.
it's
I love the shot clock.
especially for that. It's tough,
Yeah.
like, when you're out and trying to find your golf ball and a whole bunch of other stuff, but when you have that, you just have to pick up your ball, put it down in the spot you're hitting it, and hit it. I love having a shot clock. I thought that was a great idea. Like I said, the technology for this, the setup of the game, I like.
One thing they missed. One thing. One thing. And you will agree with me on this. This is on ESPN, right?
Yep,
Who's their parent company?
Disney.
Okay, why don't we have a golden Molnir to throw as the hammer?
First off, not a terrible towel. Let's talk about the hammer. The hammer is great. Like, the
Right.
idea of the hammer, I love. They should have used it more, but I want an actual hammer they throw. I don't care
I
if it's a
want I
styrofoam
want
hammer.
Thor's I want a foam Thor's hammer that they can throw across and hit somebody in the head with. That's what
Exactly.
I
I
want.
want you to throw a foam hammer at someone. That's not gonna hurt them.
Right.
Like,
Right.
I don't want this challenge flag that looks
Like,
like,
no.
Pittsburgh's terrible towel. I want you to
Right.
throw an actual foam hammer at
Give
someone.
me Thor's Molnar and let's let him throw that. And the real way to play hammer, by the way, is like you can throw it on every other shot if you
Exactly.
want to
That
play
was
it.
I was gonna say, you need to be able to throw it back too. Like, you need to be able to
Right.
double it and triple it, like, make
Like
these scores ridiculous.
right. Like give me some oh, and let the teams come back because like let's be real, New York got behind and they had no chance of coming back in that game.
No. And
No.
that was because Oberg was putting lights out and playing
He's a
lights out, and
freaking like I feel like
he's a
what they
machine using a machine is what we saw.
right, remember the robots from
iRobot?
no, I was gonna say Terminator.
Oh, okay.
There's
Same
Ludwig.
difference.
You're right. Like he's the guy in the Terminator. Like
Yeah, he's the
that,
Terminator. Like,
yeah,
that almost would be a good nickname for him. But
yeah,
that was what I'd like to see, have that energy in there, because I think the players were so nervous being the first ones out here because it's not their typical golf. They're used to playing on a
right.
course. They're not used to playing in the simulator. I think they absolutely had a blast. I think it looked fun. They need to find a way where you can go to an event and play this like I think would be more fun than Top Golf, to be honest with you, because of
I
the putting green
oh, a
aspect of
hundred.
it.
I mean, we've talked about this before on this show on our tavern show about Top Golf and things that's missing. And the putting green and the putting component of Top Golf is one of the things that's glaringly missing
But I
for
think
people to
that
come back.
what they did here, and this is what a lot of people I've talked to have felt like, it was live Golden Tee. Like, if you have played the
Mhm.
Golden Tee video game in a bar, this was the live version of that. And I liked that the courses were not your typical golf courses. They made them fun. They made them
Yeah.
interesting. They made them stuff you're not going to see in reality, but play like reality in a sense.
And
Like,
I wrote some notes down. I'm sitting here, and you talk about the holes in reality.
mhm.
We have a green surrounded by stands on this par five that they don't have virtual fans
That was
in the
my
stands.
first text to you
And I was
when those
like,
stands came up. I was like, why aren't there people in the
why
virtual
aren't there
stands?
people in them? Um, uh,
I play a
the
virtual
other
golf game, the Golf Plus on the Meta Quest, and in the
mm,
stands there, when I'm on a course, that there are virtual people in the stands. Why couldn't
right.
you do it here?
Um, one of the things that I think it was glaringly missing is, and if you've ever been up close at a PGA Tour event, or you've been, and if Bradley watches this, he's going to say drink. If you've had the luxury of being inside the ropes at a tour
Mhm.
event and seeing that impact position and what it sounds like when you're standing next to the tee box, when a tour player hits a ball, it's a lot different than you and I hitting a golf ball. It's literally just a flush sound every time. I honestly think they need more mics on the ground in the hitting area.
And so the NBA
And
does that with basketball hoops.
and I want to see mics on the screen. I want to hear that ball pop into that screen. Kind of like when somebody hits one off the wall at Fenway and it makes that sound off the
Yeah.
metal wall that like I want to hear that. And in that arena, the arena is cool. There's a ton of technology in it. I'm not going to argue that. But because of the limited amount of fans that are in there, I don't feel like you're engrossed in there. And I feel like it sounds like a half-filled gymnasium in a high school basketball game.
I think that's a great analogy. I think that's what I was gonna say, an airplane hangar with nothing in it.
Right.
Is it has
Like,
that it's too big that
yes.
it echoes. Like, you either need to find a way to put more seats in there, or you need to find some way to fill that void, and it's echoey. I felt like you could hear the music in the background that was playing for the people in the stands. That was kinda energetic, but maybe play that over the broadcast too, because it's fun. I wanna feel that energy there. I felt that lacked it on TV. I did like, Scott Van Pelt's, calling out the graphic of him that,
That
looked
was
nothing
hilarious.
like him, and he was just like, "What the heck is this?" Like,
Can we also talk about the elephant in the room?
which
I
elephant in the
don't
room?
I don't mean this is going to come across bad. The interview with DJ Khaled.
Oh man, that was DJ Khaled. I love watching DJ Khaled. I love his enthusiasm for golf, but I don't
Yes.
know what that interview was because I was watching it and I was like, where is he going with this? It felt
Yes.
like in The Office years ago, when Michael Scott was like, I sometimes start a sentence and don't even know where it's going to go, and that's what it was. He
Yeah.
was all over the place, but he was so excited about this. But
We
yeah,
the best.
that you said that I think every 5 seconds.
Um
So
the
what
okay.
would be your hope for next week? So we've seen week one. We we can talk about what we think, what we liked, what
So
we want to change, but what do you want to see next week?
The matchups are out. They came
Okay.
out literally right before. I don't know if you caught this. I took a screenshot. So it's LA versus the Jupiter Club.
Okay. So we got Tiger.
So it's Justin Rose, Colin Morikawa, and Sahith Theegala
Okay.
versus maybe the greatest team ever. This has the potential to go off the rails very quickly, and I'm all for it.
Let us know.
Tiger,
Yep.
Tiger, Max,
Then we
and
know.
Kiz.
So here's the thing. Here's the thing about that. I'm worried Tiger is going to take this too seriously and not be off the rail. Kisner is one that could be fun, and Homa's only really funny on Twitter.
I like his sense of humor. Like if you
I
sit and
love
watch,
Homa's sense of humor.
like his sense of humor is amazing, and I am all for it. Like
I hope his sense of humor comes out, and I hope they do a better job with the mic'd up and playing that and that energy
so,
because I want to hear
where do we
Tiger
set the
talk crap
over?
to somebody.
Where do we set the over under at Kisner saying this ain't no hobby, boys?
I don't know. I don't think he
Two,
does.
two.
I'd say it at 1. I'd really set it at 1.5.
Okay,
Um,
1.5. All right, fair.
I'd set it the same line as last night's football game. Um,
Half. Okay, cool.
yeah, so it was 1.5, then it went the opposite direction. But I think that what I want to see is I want to see more energy. I want to see the broadcast get a little bit better because I just felt the
Mhm.
broadcast was stale. That was my
I
thing.
think
I
I think
couldn't
the
put
fourth player that's not playing
needs to be there.
needs to be. They need to be on set with Matthew Berry.
And well, not even there. No, I want them down with the team because here's what I want. I want you to be able to sub someone in. Like, I'm not playing that well. I get to sub off the bench. You get one sub. It's like soccer. You can't sub back out, but you can sub someone in. You get one sub. I think that would be entertaining too because, hey, it puts more thought into it. Like, oh, you're better
Yep.
with iron, so I'm going to put you on a par three here. We need to make up some points. I want some strategy behind it.
So can you have that person holding a mic and literally just in on the conversation with the players so we all hear what's going on? I think that's a good
Oh,
idea.
yeah. I think they should be
Yeah.
down there. I think they should be part of it. I think it'd be more fun because right now it feels like, oh, we have our golf league, and how many of you can make it? The three of us can make it. I can't make it this week, and it feels like that one person's kind of left out.
You know, the one thing that is glaring, we didn't talk about this in our text group the other night, but because of the screen and it not being a 4K screen, the screen looks awful with the high def cameras because it's that simulator screen.
It is that I think they'll work on that over time. I think that is also the simulator technology that's out there
Correct. Yeah.
with this. So that'll catch up. The thing that bothered me actually the most, besides the broadcast itself, was this is supposed to be a team event. This is supposed to be
Mhm.
you're supposed to get behind the team, and none of them were in or had their logo for the team on them, on their hat, on their shirt. I think one of them had it on a bag, but I want to see them. I don't care that you have your sponsors. Wear your sponsored shirt. If you're sponsored by, like, we have American Fit, great, great products out there. Check them out, AmericanFit.com.
Oh,
But
wow. Dave
the
shameless plug.
it was, but we have our logo on there, and our
Right.
logo is on our shirts. And I would love to see the team logo because I want to get behind the team. I want to buy the stuff, just like I buy a football jersey or I buy a basketball jersey or I buy a baseball jersey. I'm buying it because the team wears it.
I would like to see them even wear their team logo on tour.
See, I'm against that because that's getting too much towards live and that.
The only reason being is it gives them something to talk about. It gives them a way to promote it. Like if you're trying to promote this thing, and yes, I understand where you're going with the whole live idea, but the one thing that live has done is they've tried to sell the team,
Yeah.
and they've tried to sell the idea of the team, and where I think they've shoved it too much down your throat and taken these players' ability to be themselves away, because I really think they have, and they haven't tied it to any geographical location. They've just given them team names and they suck. Um, I think that the challenge that Liv has is that and the one thing that they do well is that they push the team. And now, granted, if these players like, and we'll use Brooks for example, Brooks is still under contract with Nike. He still has that Nike deal for apparel. So with him having the Nike apparel deal, he's still in his Nike until his contract is up, and then you will see him transition into that. I think you need to push that throughout because it gives you and it gives them okay, let's say, and I'm going to use this because we've all been there. We're at Bay Hill and Ludwig is there. So um,
Yeah, but I disagree with this because I don't. It's not the PGA, it's TGL, and I don't want that crossover between the two. I want when you're playing on this team to be there, and when you're playing on the PGA Tour, I want them separate because that's also the problem with Live is you have that team and individual aspect. I don't want the two confused. I like the separation here, and but I want to see it more on your own event. Like if
right.
you're at TGL, I want to see you in that uniform. I get you have sponsorship, and if that's part of it, then that's fine. But I think you can work that out. I think sponsors would be okay. Like if I'm Nike and you're Reebok, but we're both put our logo on that thing, that's not conflicting. I'm still
No.
wearing the Nike stuff, and you're still wearing the
Yep.
Reebok stuff, but we just have our team logo on there. And I think that would be because you said it. They have geographical locations tied to them, which is a big thing because that's what makes me want to
Yep.
root for the New York team because I'm from the New Jersey, New York area. I wanted to get behind that team. Not the way they played, but I want
Didn't
to
play real well at all.
but I want to get behind a team like that, and I like having that location. I wish if this grows in the future that they have to travel to those locations to play these events because then you'll get those people in those areas behind those teams.
Yeah.
Because right now it's just in Florida, so the geographical locations are really nonsense because the players aren't really tied to those geographical locations. The team is not tied; it's just in name only.
Mhm.
But I like that they did it. But I'd like to
Now,
see more of that team aspect.
I think if you look at week one, you call it a success. They had nearly 1 million views,
Yeah,
unique.
they had more
Um,
views in the Duke game that led into it.
right. They had way more views than any live event on the CW or on YouTube.
Yeah.
Um, I think that when you look at what they're getting for the return, I mean, the 2 hours, they did go over a little bit. I almost feel like we need to change triples to 6 holes and have 6 holes triples, 6 holes individual.
I like that.
And
That was my big thing too, was changing that a little bit, was having
yeah,
that. I'd also like to see, hey, if I'm hitting the shot and it's gonna be on the green next or in that chipping and putting area, have that person over there ready to go.
yeah,
Because they don't need to stand over there, like, take the bag over there, do some stuff with that. I think that would help speed it on a little bit.
yeah.
So,
I I want to see more behind the scenes. I want to see more interaction between the players. I think that would be good. And you know what? I would like to see some play-by-play and some commentary. I mean, I felt like it was just a party. Uh, the one thing where they don't describe the shots is it felt like it was just a party in a golf simulator. We were having somebody's birthday party in a golf simulator where everybody's just sitting around talking and waiting for their next beer to be filled from the bar. Now, there's
and
a problem with that.
I think what happens there is in commentary when you're on a golf course, you know the golf course, you know what you to expect there. I don't think they knew what to expect here. I don't think they've seen the holes like the
No,
commentators. The players had kind of practiced on this, but I think the commentators kind of needed to have that practice as well. I hope that moving forward they have better synergy. I hope they see what they take a look at this, they watch the videotape and they go, "Hey, here's what we're going to do moving forward," and keep evolving because I think they have a good product. I think they have a
yep,
good idea. Just keep having fun with it and make it more exciting. Because like I
yep,
said, I was bored through it. I was like, I'm just watching guys hit into a screen. I mean, we were talking to one of our buddies in that text group, and he goes, "Oh, I went to the bathroom. What did I miss?" I said, "Guy hit ball on the screen, hit ball on the screen again, went over and went to the putting green, repeat." Like that's what it felt like
yep,
because there was no commentary, and I
yep,
think that is both on the players themselves. I want to hear a little bit more from them and trash talking, and throw that hammer and make it an actual foam hammer. Um, because how funny would it have been if Oberg was lining up for a putt and Ricky Fowler just threw it at the back of his head?
I mean, the only thing that was awesome was when Ricky threw the flag down in front of uh what's his name? Shane Lowry
Yeah,
when he was putting. That was amazing because that was like, okay, that's
but
I
if
want
that
to
was
see
a
that.
hammer, if that was a hammer, it'd been more. It would have been even more amazing.
Yeah.
So,
So
so
um
Steve,
I,
what's the one thing as we wrap up here? What's the one thing that you want to see continue, and the one thing that you didn't see and would like to see moving forward?
the one thing I want to see continue, I mean, I love the format and I love the technology. So I mean, we're not going to get rid of that anyway. So I feel like that's locked and loaded anyway. So let's lock and load that and just and keep it there. The one thing I think I'd like to see stopped.
Or started, or like so that you didn't see.
Start. I need more hammer.
Yeah, that's my thing. I want to see more hammer, and I want to see an actual foam hammer. I don't need a real hammer. That's just
Yeah, no, I need.
reckless.
That sounds like
But
it could hurt.
I
Yeah,
want something they can throw and have fun with. That's what I
yeah,
want to see moving forward. Also want to see the broadcast improve.
yeah,
But the thing that I liked the most was that putting green. I thought it was interesting. It's not like something they see on tour. It has a lot more contours to it, and the way that it moves and can
yeah.
change. They'll be lined up for a putt, and oh, last time it did this, but the contours are different here now. So I also like the target that came down where they had to place it. I thought that was great
That
in
was
the
cool.
technology as
Yeah,
well.
that was cool. Um,
So I'd say, folks, tell us what you thought in the comments, what your thoughts with TGL are, and what you want to see with them. And we'll probably be talking more about this on our other show, the Golfing Dads Tavern, live on Tuesday nights. But
just really quick before we go. So
yep,
we had what 900 and something thousand viewers last week, unique. Tigers on this week, over or under?
over.
Over. Okay.
Actually, maybe it stays the same because I don't know that. I think you're going to lose some of the people that were watching it that thought, oh, it wasn't as exciting, so maybe they don't watch it again. So maybe it stays the same. I'm going to say it stays the same.
Okay.
I'm going to say you
Push.
have the same
Okay.
viewership.
I think the
So
big week is going to be week 4.
yes,
That is Boston versus Jupiter, and that is Rory versus Tiger.
And that's gonna be the week that they have to make or break this. Like,
Yes.
you have to work out a lot of the kinks right before you get to that match because that should be the match.
Correct. So
All right. Well, with that, folks, we'll see you next time.
I'm really fortunate, man. I mean, having an opportunity to build something that's
that has gone viral on our TikTok. That somebody was commenting about playing Whistling Straits for 700